What's up, everybody? My name is Ryan Thomas, and you're listening to the Thomas Take Sports Podcast live on YouTube.com, Spreaker.com, and iTunes. Thank you for joining me tonight as we are back again, as I'm back again to bring you another edition of the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. And here we are. Wanted to bring you an episode as advertised. Let's see here. Got people admitting that they didn't lose to me in Madden. Come on now. Barely beat me in Madden twice. All right, so let's get back to the show. So, people, you guys, the people saw what I posted today on all the Buffalo Bills Facebook groups that I'm a part of, on Twitter, on my Twitter, at Thomas Takeover, on my Instagram, Ryan_Thomas31. I talked about what my dream scenario would be for the Buffalo Bills. And the Bills have already dipped their toes in the water of doing this, of trading a name player like Sammy Watkins to the Los Angeles Rams for a second-round pick, and trading Ronald Darby to the Philadelphia Eagles for Jordan Matthews and a third-round pick. So, my dream scenario is that within the first 6-7 weeks of the season, when the trade deadline comes during the 2017 season, the Bills are under 500, whether it be 2-4, 1-5, 0-6, and the Bills decide, let's just throw it away. Let's trade LeSean McCoy. Let's trade Richie Incognito. Let's trade Kyle Williams. Let's trade the players that we feel we can get a return on to build for next season, to build in the 2018 draft, to create more cap space than what they will already have in 2018, and continue to bolster this roster with draft picks. Let's be honest. If the Bills are 2-4 at the trade deadline, if they're 1-5, they're not going to make the playoffs anyway. Why not give these players a chance to go to teams in which they will have a good shot at winning in their careers? LeSean McCoy, the clock is ticking for this man to get a Super Bowl, to really go far into the playoffs, to get a Super Bowl ring, something that's eluded him his entire career. Statistically, he's one of the better running backs in recent memory. I personally would like to see him get an opportunity to win a Super Bowl. And I hate to say it, guys and gals that follow this show, Bills fans, Bills Mafia, I don't see that happening with the Buffalo Bills, especially with the current direction of their organization. So the direction is not a bad one. It's well known that the teams that are the better organizations in the National Football League are building their success through the NFL draft. We've seen Cleveland really revamp their roster in recent years. We see the Patriots every year trade down, acquire more picks. More picks means more players. More players means you're filling more holes. Filling more holes leads to building a better team. And that's what the Buffalo Bills need to do in 2018. They've already started that. 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, quite possibly 3 third-round picks. Currently, that stands at 2. But let me tell you right here, my dream scenario would be that the Bills send LeSean McCoy, Kyle Williams, and Richie Incognito packing, maybe along with Tyrod Taylor at the trade deadline or at the end of the year, and start over. This team is no better than where we thought they would be, 3 years ago when they made the move to get LeSean McCoy, when they made the move to get Sammy Watkins. It did virtually nothing to improve this team's chances at making the playoffs. Why try to be something that you are not? Why not try to be something that you are aspiring to be, a team that can catch up to the Patriots? Best way to do it is by adding picks in this 2018 draft, acquiring more talent, bringing in younger players on the rookie wage scale. And that's a concept that does not get talked about enough, the rookie wage scale. Guys coming in the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh round, they're on a rookie wage scale contract. So you have these guys for 4 or 5 years on their rookie deals, making little to nothing, regardless of roster position, regardless of what they need, what they don't need. Obviously, if you take a player in the top 10, their rookie wage scale is a little bit more. But even so, the collective bargaining agreement that was signed a couple years back has really been a good thing for the NFL, and it's been a good thing for the NFL draft. It's been a good thing for teams that are trying to rebuild through the draft. And Josh Sonberg, I believe, if I'm saying your name wrong, I apologize, but he asked me earlier today who is the better quarterback out of the draft this year. And, obviously, there's a few names that come to mind. I want to pull out my list here of guys that I really like, not just quarterbacks in this draft, but obviously Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen. Darnold of USC, one of the hot names in last year's college football ranks with USC, and Josh Rosen at UCLA. I'm really excited for their November matchup. We'll get to see them play against each other. USC, UCLA, a huge rivalry in college football. The two teams that represent two of the few teams that represent California. Josh Allen is a guy that I really like. Then there's obviously Baker Mayfield, quarterback from Oklahoma, that I'm really intrigued by, but he's had some off the field related issues. But one guy that really jumps out at me, one guy that I would really love to see in Buffalo red, white, and blue. And it will be a position of need because, according to me, I would be sending LeSean McCoy packing, try to get as big a return for him as you possibly can. Yes, we only netted a second-round pick for a 24-year-old wide receiver that had 1 year left on his rookie deal. What could we net for a 29-year-old running back that has 2 years left on his contract? I think 3 years left on his, maybe 2. 2 or 3 years left on his contract, we'll say. I don't know what that will net you, but I do know that he's not going to win here. He's not going to get any closer to winning a Super Bowl as a Buffalo Bill than where he is today. If anything, his chances will only lessen as the time goes on. And realistically, he's 29 years old. How much does he really have left in the tank? The window of opportunity for the Bills to make the playoffs while LeSean McCoy is somewhat in his prime, I think has came and went these last 2 years. And I hate to say that, but it's just how I feel. And with that, the guy that I really want on the Buffalo Bills from the 2018 draft is Saquon Barkley out of Penn State. If you guys don't know who Saquon Barkley is now, you should. This kid is unreal. I like him just as much as Leonard Fournette. I like him just as much as Christian McCaffrey. And I love both Leonard Fournette and Christian McCaffrey. But this Saquon Barkley guy, he is a fantastic runner. He reminds me a lot of David Johnson. He's got great ability to make people miss, great juke ability, great cut ability, and he's a big back. He's 5'11", 225, thick legs, thick bottom half. Very tough to be brought down, and he has speed, 4.4, 4.5 speed that money can't buy in that type of body. I really, really enjoy watching him, and I was watching film on him today. In pass protection, he's a solid pass blocker, can catch passes out of the backfield. He's a franchise running back. I don't know where the Bills will finish, and I know that they need a franchise quarterback. I am as harsh a critic to Tyrod Taylor as anybody in the area, I believe. In my age group, I should say. I feel like people in my age group are really acceptive of Tyrod. I'm not sold on him. I've never have been. I probably never will be. Regardless of whether Tyrod throws for 48 touchdowns and 6 interceptions or whatever he contributes to the 2017 Buffalo Bills, I think he's as good as gone. I think this is his last year with the Bills. I think that his ability will be seen or lack thereof as they go drive for drive with the teams that they have to play, with the Drew Brees-like quarterbacks, with the Tom Brady's twice a year, with the Matt Ryans, with the Cam Newtons, with the Jameis Winstons of the world, and that's just to name a few. I think that Tyrod is going to get exposed, and I really feel like this is his last season. Nathan Peterman, I posted today that he has really impressed me the last two practices at Bills camp. He looks like he's more composed. I don't know if Peterman is the franchise quarterback, but I do know it's good to have him at One Bills Drive. And whether the Bills draft a quarterback, whether it's Sam Darnold or Josh Rosen or Josh Allen or Baker Mayfield, one of those 3 guys, or one of those 4 guys, I should say, would be an intriguing player to bring in at One Bills Drive. I would lean towards Darnold, but you have a team in the AFC East currently that is really trying to tank for Sam Darnold, and that is the New York Jets. And I think that the Jets are going to do so successfully this year. They've really stripped the cupboard bare. Their defense still has a solid front seven, but I would really start to kind of tank harder than the Jets. This 2017 season with Sammy Watkins, by most people, by the accounts of most people, most analysts inside the sport of football, inside the NFL, did not predict the Bills making the playoffs this year. They have an uphill battle as far as their schedule. It's a transition year. Use this year to really, really stockpile picks and key players that might have friendly contracts for the teams as far as bridge players go, and build for the future. This coach is going to be here for a while. The GM is going to be here for a while. I don't see anything happening with their respective positions in the near future. But I do see that these two men want to build for the future, and that is something that the previous, Doug Whaley's, Tom Donahoe, Russ Brandon, the short time that he was here as the GM, Buddy Nix, the previous four GMs have just not done successfully or at all in building in the future, building for the future, acquiring multiple draft picks. 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and as of now, 2/3. That's something that the Bills have never had, at least in my lifetime, in multiple picks in each of the first 3 rounds, 6 picks in the first 3 rounds. Remarkable stuff, and I'm excited about that. But the Bills really need to bring in players that are going to be the future of this team. I'm excited. I am excited about the future of this team because I know how quick a team can be built through the draft. We'll go back a couple years ago. The Oakland Raiders were a shell of themselves for many, many years, and Reggie McKenzie walked in there, acquired picks, acquired team-friendly players that were fitting the mold of the Raiders, and just like that, snap of your fingers, the Raiders are one of the few teams in the AFC that I believe can compete with the New England Patriots for a spot in the Super Bowl representing the AFC. So, they've added some veterans here and there too. Obviously, Marshawn Lynch this past year, but I think that they've done a fantastic job getting Mack, Carr, Cooper, those 3 cornerstones of their team. The Bills need to kind of follow that model. Get the quarterback, get the wide receiver, get the pass rusher. I think they got the pass rusher in Shaq Lawson. I think they could get the wide receiver eventually. They might already have one in Zay Jones. And then as far as the quarterback, you have the options of Darnold, Rosen, Allen. You have 2 first-round picks. Could we see the Bills maybe move up in the draft to take Darnold? If the Jets are sitting there first overall, that will not happen. So I'm saying right here, right now, that the Bills need to embrace this idea if they are in the cellar come the trade deadline, which I believe they will be. And I hate the phrase tanking. I don't want to see my team lose. But what does 8-8 do for the Bills in making no playoffs? What does 9-7 do for the Bills without making the playoffs? What does 7-9, 6-10 do? If we're going to lose, we need to be in a position to bring in players that can help us win. We need to be the team that goes from 4-12 to 10-6. We need to be the team that goes from 5-11 to 11-5 or 9-7. That's what kind of turnaround the draft can bring. I mean, look at the Atlanta Falcons. They were one of the worst teams in the league post Mike Vick's dogfighting indictment, and boom, they had a terrible year. Matt Ryan fell right into their lap, and look where they are. Peyton Manning obviously comes to mind as a player that fractured his neck, and the Colts tanked hard for Luck, and they got him, and where would their franchise be if they didn't have Andrew Luck? It wouldn't be where it is. So that is my take on my dream best case scenario. I want the Bills to continue to stockpile draft picks, and if they have to trade the likes of McCoy, Incognito, and Williams, I'm welcome to it. I'm Ryan Thomas. That was the Thomas Take. Thanks for tuning in.